What is up, guys? This is the Casual Wrestling Community Show. I am one of your hosts, the Notorious NerdyD, alongside the co-host of the show, Milwaukee Mike. Tonight we are going to break down the biggest news in pro wrestling, including Rhea Ripley vacating her title, whose stock is rising in WWE, and ranking the current champions in WWE. But first, Mike, 35 minutes on the clock. Let's break it down for all the casual wrestling fans out there.
Better bring it if we debating going toe to toe. No holding back, I'm speaking the facts. Let me introduce you to the dopest show. NerdyD and Milwaukee Mike, bringing the energy. If you a fan of wrestling and especially WWE, this is the Casual Wrestling Show. Casual Wrestling Show. We got opinions, we letting them know. Casual Wrestling Show. Hey, ain't no holding back.
So as always, Mike, let's start the show with the biggest news going on, I think, in pro wrestling. And we kind of talked about this a little bit before the show, but I think Rhea Ripley having to vacate the title is the biggest news in the wrestling world right now. It's a little bit of a slowdown when you hit this kind of in-between WrestleMania and now we're quickly approaching the draft. There's not as many kind of big storylines, but this, to me, this was interesting because I saw the internet kind of react to this story in a way of, I think it's pretty split down the middle, that there's 50% of people who think this is fake and this is for storyline and this is a kayfabe injury. And then I see about 50% of the people who say this is the real deal. Rhea's really hurt. I think I fall more onto the kind of gray area of that of, I think there's portions of both sides. I do think that Rhea Ripley's injured. We saw her wearing a hand cast on Pat McAfee pre-WrestleMania. So I think there's some lingering injuries there. I think she's had a pretty long run. So I do think that they may have sat down and had a conversation where they go, we can give Rhea a break. We can work this into a storyline. We can give Liv this moment. I truly believe in my heart of hearts that's what's happening. But I'm going to play flip side here for a minute, Mike. And let's just pretend we have to believe what's in front of us. Let's pretend that Liv Morgan reinserts herself into the WWE. She shows back up. She throws a chair at Rhea Ripley and she injures Rhea Ripley. Like, is that not the most Liv Morgan thing that could possibly happen? She comes back. You give her flowers. You show appreciation to Liv Morgan last week, and she comes back, and she reminds everybody why we don't want her here in the first place. Like, the promo she cut this last week reminded me immediately, oh, yeah, I don't need Liv Morgan. I don't need her talking. I don't need the Liv Morgan revenge tour. If she took out Rhea Ripley and she ended this title run, I absolutely don't. We were perfectly fine where we were. I was fine. Nia Jax had got her shit together, and Nia Jax was hitting on full steam. Becky Lynch was Becky Lynch. We had everything laid out the way we wanted. Then insert Liv Morgan, and all of a sudden here we are. I don't know where you stand on this, but I want to believe, just for my sanity, I want to believe this is storyline. But if this is real, man, fuck Liv Morgan.
Yeah, I'm kind of with you on that. I'm in between, and it's kind of like a gray area space. It was surprising to see her relinquish the title. I do think that she's hurt. As you mentioned, she had the cast on her thumb. So I think that's part of it. I don't know about the shoulder part. Maybe it's because she had mentioned that she said that she can still wrestle with the thumb, and now they want to give her time off to kind of heal that up. So now they kind of play it like as a shoulder. Maybe that's an angle they go. It's interesting to have Liv Morgan be the one to have hurt her and give her the same injury that Rhea gave Liv Morgan. So that's the part that makes me wonder if it's storyline or if it's real. Now, them going with this Liv Morgan revenge tour, that's a whole different thing for me. I guess this is a way that you can kind of get her reacclimated to the WWE universe, maybe the fans that have kind of turned on her, and make her a real true heel. We've seen her with the SmackDown title, and that was underwhelming. And it just makes me nervous if they're going to put the world heavyweight, the world women's title on her, because that's kind of a big responsibility, especially on a Raw show that's kind of improved and they're kind of making strides. It makes me a little bit nervous. I would rather go Nia Jax at this point because she kind of had a little bit more momentum, and it makes you wonder the direction that they're going to kind of go after this. So I'm with you. It's kind of a gray area. It's sad to see because she had a great Mania match, and you would assume that she would have kept the title probably till next WrestleMania, but maybe this was the break that they saw to kind of shake things up in the women's division. I guess we'll have to wait and see.
From a storyline perspective, Mike, I think it works. I think it honestly, because I don't want to doubt Triple H right now, because almost everything Triple H is doing, I kind of see him, the path he's taking and why it's working. And if there's storyline elements to this, I 100% understand the idea of let's pull Rhea Ripley back a little bit. Let's let her come back. When she returns, she's going to get a huge pop. It's going to be babyface. And like you said, we can line her up across from Liv Morgan as the heel. My problem, is Liv Morgan a believable heel? Like, is there any world? We know this, Mike. We know this. We've had this discussion. The IWC fuels Liv Morgan with their love for who she is. So just make her a babyface and let them adore her. I absolutely don't think that Liv Morgan works as a heel. It's not believable. She's not big enough. She's not scary enough. You can throw as many chairs as you want, but it just, to me, like, that doesn't work. My belief is that when Rhea Ripley comes back, she's just going to stomp all over her.
Yeah, and I've seen an angle online where this could also be a situation where they're trying to position Rhea to come back as a babyface, which I could see.
Yeah.
Giving her time off, the pop she gets when she gets back, you know, it's gonna be big. So I could see how that could work into it as well.
All right, so let's talk about Monday Night Raw then, Mike. As always, this is the point of the show where we kind of give our biggest takes from Monday Night Raw. And I can tell you that I'm having a little bit of a problem pinpointing single things to talk about. And I feel like I'm getting redundant because every week I just want to come on here in this segment and give Triple H his flowers. How long can he keep Monday Night Raw feeling like this? Like, how long can he take 3 hours and make it feel this special? The production, flawless. The video packages are phenomenal. The booking is amazing. It's why I don't want to doubt what's going on with Liv Morgan and Rhea Ripley, because I feel like I'll be made to look like a fool if I read too much into it, and he's got a big plan that takes us and we go, oh, I get it. One of my biggest takeaways from Raw, Mike, has to be that NBC has to be kicking themselves in the nuts right now. They've got to be going, why the fuck? Who made the decision not to bid on this? Like, Triple H, why didn't you tell us that you had these plans? Because now they're going to be left out. I guess you get SmackDown, but Raw kind of feels like the thing that's steering the ship right now. It's the show I'm excited to see. Wrestling is must watch again. Like, it's must watch. I have friends who have not watched wrestling in a long time who are calling me and going, oh, I see what you've been doing this whole time. I see why you enjoy this thing. That Sami Zayn main event felt like a UFC card to me. They built the entire show around that event. And normally that would be something that I absolutely hated. Like, oh, we're doing this gimmick thing where we don't have a lot going on pre-draft. So no, the way they I'm loving these long camera shots where we follow Jey Uso out of the building to transition to Sami coming back in. That it's like cinema. And I'm not a big cinema person with like, oh, that movie's so pretty, but I'm watching wrestling and I'm like, this shit is pretty. This is, and I know I'm redundant. Mike, I'm redundant. I'm going to probably for the next 3 weeks keep coming out here and saying, but I can't put my thumb on one thing. It's the entirety of like if you told me 3 weeks ago that they were going to shrink the stage of Monday Night Raw and I was going to be okay, I just said, you're crazy. Why are we dumbing things down? It just all kind of works with this new attitude that Raw has. So what's your takeaway?
Yeah, I mean, it'd be easy to piggyback off of that. Let me try and go a different route. I want to say that the women's tag team division is my biggest takeaway. I think it's really down right now.
Agree.
the Kabuki Warriors, where are they at after WrestleMania? And these established teams that they had, like the Katana Chance and Kaden Carter, the actual established tag team that they have are getting squashed by Chelsea Green and Piper Niven. Yep. It's not a good division right now. The women's division as a whole is good. The tag team division is not. And it just makes me wonder what the direction is that they're going to go with that particular thing. It would be easy for me to say that have these women in NXT kind of start off in tag teams. Maybe you can catch some chemistry and a fire down there and move them up. I know they had the Alba Fire, and I can't think of the other chick's name.
I know who you're talking about, though.
That was an established team.
Yeah.
We haven't seen them. So if you're going to continue to have these women tag team champion belts, I'd like to see that division improve. Otherwise, scrap it and go the direction that NXT's going and get a secondary title. Like they're bringing the NXT North American Championship for the women down there right now. Why can't we get that on the main roster?
Now,
especially if the tag team.
Is there NXT Women's Tag Team Championships right now?
No, it's a combined.
So there's just one set. So there's no excuse for this booking. So I'm with you 100% on this, because what you just said was brilliant. Like, you have an opportunity to take tag teams from NXT, give them main roster opportunities where they just get to feel what the lights look like.
Yeah.
They get to see what the show's like. There's no excuse for that. And I guess, like, the only excuse I would make, and this is me being a WWE fanboy, is like, when you're in a kitchen, it's hard to cook 10 things at once.
Yeah.
Maybe he's got that on the back of his mind. Like, we'll get there. Maybe Bianca and Jade is in the plans to, but still, I'm with you. Like, that's kind of thrown together.
It looks like they are in the plans to be a tag team, but then it's like, okay, they get the belts. Then what?
Yeah. No, I'm with you. That makes a lot of sense. I actually like that. All right, Mike, then let's move to stock rising and stock falling. I want to hear whose stock rose this week on the Mike stock market and whose stock fell. Let's start with whose stock rose.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Chad Gable, man. Now, initially, I'm watching Raw. Okay. He loses, and I'm like, oh, man, this dude is – you can write him off now at this point. And then he turns, and it's like, oh, now we got a new element to this whole thing. And I'm excited to see where this is going to go now. How this incorporates the Alpha Academy. I seen one of the Creed brothers go on Twitter and kind of hint at maybe Gable and them hooking up. It's interesting now. Gable, he's good in the ring. I got to see how he is now as a heel on the mic with his heel actions. But I'm excited to see where it's going, because I think we've all kind of been wanting this to happen, and now it's finally happening. I hope they can execute.
Now, help me here. Was Gable was teetering on heel with Alpha Academy when they were kind of in a program with Street Profits? Never full on, but when they did all that kind of decathlon academic, he teetered on the world of heel. Now he's got to go at it alone, which is very different. I like the idea of putting the Creed brothers with, I think it's a natural fit. I think that absolutely makes sense. Where does Otis fit into all of this? Because Otis can be muscle. Like, that's what while he has great comedic timing, there is the reality that Otis is a big athletic guy who can be muscle. Or is this just going to be a solo Chad Gable run? I'm with you. Stock rise in there, definitely. When I was a little upset too, when the show ended and he rolled out of the ring and they shook hands, I kind of was like, oh, okay, so we're done with Gable, because there's no coming back from that. Heel turn was perfect. My stock rising, Mike, CM Punk. CM Punk stock is going through the roof right now. You're talking about a guy who doesn't have to be on TV, literally can sit at home, and other companies are doing the work for him. AEW just gave CM Punk a full-on push. You talk about a guy who just, like, the wrestling world is just a magnet for him to just get over. What was AEW thinking, Mike? What were they doing? Like, that's the video. I have so many takes on this video. It's insane. I'll start with number one. That's normal shit in a locker room. That's not even a fight. Tony Khan had the audacity to come out and say that this was the most fearful he has ever been in his life. That kind of shit happened on a daily basis in locker rooms that athletes are in. That's just, I don't know. Maybe sports have changed since we played, Mike, but that seems pretty normal to me. Number two, the IWC trying to take a victory lap on CM Punk and going, oh, he got the details wrong. I don't give a shit what the details were. What I saw was a guy who was clearly fed up with a bunch of snotty-nosed, entitled bitches running around a locker room who had the balls to step up and go, say it to my fucking face. If you're going to come back here and be a little bitchy crybaby, say it to my face. And Jungle Bitch fucked around and found out. Like, he found out. He got his ass choked. Yes, some of the details aren't exactly the way CM Punk told it. Who doesn't tell their stories and glorify them just a little bit to make, spice them up a little bit? But what I got from that video is, first off, that's not a fireable offense.
No.
That is just a daily happening in a company with grown alpha men who are going out there competing for a spot. Not fireable. Definitely not the scariest thing I've ever seen in my life. I can only imagine what he would have done if he saw like Chris Jericho and Brock Lesnar get into a fight. Like, Tony Khan would have shit himself. So the stock rising for me is CM Punk. Sit at home. You're trending on X. Like, you have, also though, like, I don't know. Like, the Young Bucks now saying, well, we didn't really want to do it. No, fuck you guys. Y'all thought that the IWC and everybody was going to get behind you, and now we're all just laughing at you.
Yeah.
All right, so whose stock is falling then for you, Mike?
This might be from left field, but I'm going Logan Paul.
Interesting.
I'm going Logan Paul, and the reason behind it is because had a nice victory at WrestleMania, no show on SmackDown.
Nice having a baby.
So
did you see that?
I seen that.
Okay.
I've seen that. So that also makes me kind of wonder what's going to happen with him. It's just, having a title, the U.S. title, which we've seen on Monday nights, they've elevated the Intercontinental title. I think they need to do the same with the U.S. title, especially with the rumors that Cody might be jumping show to show, the bloodlines being obviously a bit more prevalent now on Fridays as well. You got to have that secondary title on that show to kind of keep stories going and keep things exciting. If he's going to be taking this Roman Reigns route, I'm a little concerned with it. You would think going into Backlash, they would have planted some seeds for the next story for him if he's going to make the trip. I would hope he would, having a title. But yeah, I would say that my stock for him is lowering because you're seeing, like I said, the IC title elevated. Sammy every week. You'd like to see that on the same thing on Fridays with Logan or whoever that's going to hold the belt on Fridays. So that's my stock lowering.
Yeah, I think, I'm under the belief that he's holding it till Cleveland, and then we're probably done with Logan for a little bit. I'm assuming, maybe not. My biggest stock falling, Mike, Kenny Omega. I'm doubling down on this CM Punk thing. Did you see Kenny Omega come out and try to play damage control on this whole situation?
I did not see that.
Oh, okay. So Kenny Omega came out and said that during the brawl out, his biggest concern was CM Punk's dog and getting CM Punk's dog out of the way. And that he called CM Punk after the brawl and made amends and that they're good. This is all fucking news. CM Punk doesn't seem like they're good. What this feels like to me is exactly what we've all said from the beginning. Kenny Omega was only in AEW to use Tony Khan's money till it wasn't cool anymore. It's not cool anymore. Kenny he's distancing himself from the Young Bucks. He's trying to position himself for a WWE run. Like, he knows AEW's done. It's sunk. It will never be what it was at its apex. It will exist, and it will be the niche for the wrestling fans who want something slightly different, but it will never, like, it can't climb back up the mountain. There's no surprises left. Tony Khan, there's nobody he could pay outside of maybe Brock Lesnar that he could bring in that would kind of change the company. And then the fact is Brock Lesnar's just too fucking big for everybody in that company anyway, so it wouldn't make sense. But
right.
Kenny Omega is clearly positioning himself at this point, trying to make amends, trying to distance himself from what actually happened, trying to distance himself from Tony Khan, and he's setting himself up. He's looking and going, WWE wanted me at one point. Maybe they'll still love me if I just come out here and say all the right things and say all the nice things. Come on, man. You're part of the Mean Girls Club, and now that this little publicity stunt backfired in your face and you all look like idiots, now you're coming out with all this like, well, I was protecting the dog and I've already talked to CM Punk and we're friends. That's not the story CM Punk tells. He says he tried to get you guys all together and make wrestling money with this situation, and you guys were all too spoiled to do it. I got one more stock falling, Mike.
Yeah.
IWC. And this whole Sheamus situation. As a proud card-carrying club member of the Big Boy Club, Sheamus is just out here looking like he enjoys his life. Sheamus put on a couple pounds, okay? I get it. Sheamus runs a YouTube channel about fitness, and we all expect him to be this super in shape guy. But fuck the IWC. Like, I watched the internet go crazy, and I'm not talking about. There's good-spirited fun, Mike. There's people making jokes, and that's funny. Jokes are fine. I think Sheamus would appreciate the jokes. But there's a subculture of the IWC who are just like, this is what you like, WWE fans. This is what it's like. Give the dude a break. He's coming off of an injury. Clearly, in a month from now, he's going to look like what he used to look like. Or if he doesn't, more power to him. I'm all for him being in the Big Boy Club with me. But I can't believe that the IWC just lives and dies on every changing body aspect of a professional wrestler, and then Sheamus coming out afterwards and owning it and going, I just got big bones, guys. Like come on, IWC, get with the joke. All right, time for Hot Mike. What do you got for me today, Mike?
So today we're going to hit on tribalism. Now, I want to start by saying I don't think tribalism is the correct word for what's happening between WWE and AEW, more specifically the IWC, that kind of lights the fire and initiates the tribalism. Mm-hmm. I think it's just, my analogy to it is, we all have our favorite sports teams.
100%.
When our sports teams aren't doing well, we find the ones that are doing well and we hate on them.
100%.
We try and make fun of them. We try and nitpick little things that they're doing wrong or incorrectly. And that's how we kind of cushion ourselves from the pain that we're experiencing from us not doing well.
Yeah.
It's interesting to me that when AEW came to life, and I believe that was about maybe 5 years ago, that's when this whole thing started. IWC was very quiet on hating on the WWE product when it was just standalone, which makes sense, right? If you're going to sit here and try and put all your energy into trying to attack a company that's doing well, I think you need to look in the mirror. Because ultimately what you should be doing is trying to find ways that your favorite company could improve. Whether it's, how you get more attendance in these arenas, how you get more, how you get better storylines being told on TV, among other things. The problem for me with AEW is when you turn on the TV and you try and watch, right? And from the beginning, I tried to be a fan. I tried, I'm all for an alternative because I love wrestling.
Yep.
Now, if on Saturdays or Sundays when WWE's not on and I have this to watch, cool. The problem is you turn it on, you have no idea what's going on. Zero. You don't know who the guys in the ring are. You don't know what the storyline is. It's just a bunch of dream matches that are getting thrown at the crowd, and they're expected to know what's going on, who these guys are, and that's where I get lost. And I think that's what you're seeing now with a lot of people that are trying to get established with AEW, is that they don't know what the hell's going on. And it's not enjoyable. And that's why these arenas aren't filling up. Because I strongly believe if it was a good alternative, the arenas would be full and they would have a lot more support. The problem is that they just keep missing and missing and missing. So, the whole term tribalism, you could go ahead and say it's tribalism, but for me, it's more so my team ain't doing well. So let me go look at this team, nitpick and try and hate on them to make myself feel better.
So, I'm going to double down on what you said because that's always been my thought. I'm a big problem with the wrestling internet. I like to stir the pot. It's fun, but that's fun.
Right.
Like tribalism to me is what makes wrestling. Without tribalism, wrestling's just acting. It's just another TV show. If we're not arguing and fighting for fun, I don't understand it. I, like you, tried to watch AEW. I wanted to like both shows. I actually started out, when I first started watching wrestling again about 4 or 5 years ago, watching AEW and going, oh, I recognize these faces. And then they disappear. And then a bunch of new guys showed up. And I was like, this doesn't make sense. This is incoherent. This not, it doesn't work the way my brain works. And so I started talking shit about it. And I got a reaction. And that's fun. What you said is exactly right about sports. The only thing that you can do when your team sucks is have fun and talk shit about other teams. That is the basis of sports. That is why the NFL makes millions and millions of dollars. It's not just the people who support their team. It's the people who turn on the TV to see the other team lose. For every Tom Brady fan, you have to have a Tom Brady hater so that you generate audience. Where tribalism becomes a problem to me, Mike, is when it becomes something people fixate on outside of, like, we turn the cameras on, we talk our shit, we turn it off, and we go live our life, and it's fun. But there's a world where this is 24/7, where people are fighting and arguing and threatening each other, and it turns into death threats and things like, I want Chris Jericho to do good. I don't have any ill will. Like, I don't necessarily love Tony Khan. I think he's an idiot, but I don't want his company to fail because, number one, from a selfish point of view, the competition, we wouldn't be where we were with WWE today if it wasn't for Tony Khan introducing an alternative that forced WWE to go, we've got to separate ourselves. WWE was in a pattern. It was obvious. It was just the same shit every week. They didn't care. They didn't need to entertain. Now we've gotten to this point where they've separated themselves and wrestling's great. And AEW is a necessary product. It is necessary for people who don't like what's on WWE, and that's fine. I'm still going to talk shit about it. I'm still going to talk shit when Tony Khan does stupid things. And to me, tribalism it's a great thing as long as it's controlled and used as a tool for fun and entertainment. The minute it becomes real, to me, is when it becomes a problem, right? When people fight in the stands and shit like that, that's a problem.
Yeah, and just one more thing. I think with tribalism, right? You've seen Adam Copeland, his, AKA Edge, go out on, cut a promo about 2 weeks ago, talking about how wrestling, is cool and the business is good and there's a lot of negativity. But then the following week, you have the Young Bucks go and show that footage and just stir up the whole pot again. The issue to me, at least, with tribalism is when you have your talent and the competing company constantly take jabs and jabs and jabs at the stronger company, you're just lighting the fire under the IWC to continue on with the tribalism. You don't see Ring of Honor or TNA or New Japan Pro Wrestling come out and take jabs at WWE. Why? Because they're just focused on putting out a good product. So,
don't you see that as, like, that's the delusion of Tony Khan? Tony Khan sold them on the dream that we're going to compete. Like, I think, like, New Japan Pro Wrestling understands they're a niche product and they fit in and they don't need to compete with WWE. We different audience, different people. AEW, like, I think Edge, Adam Copeland, was sold the dream. You come here. we win.
Right.
We compete. And then he shows up and there's 250 people in the arena. I know that's hyperbole, but like, there's a whole half of the arena's empty. And I think a little bit of your pride kicks in at that point, and you've got to be like, we got to quit the tribalism and shit like that. No, bro, you chose the wrong team. You were in free agency, and you took the bag. You took what you thought was going to be the better position. You didn't hold out, and this is the circumstances you're dealt. When that contract's up, you're more than welcome to come back. You have that option. But right now, you need to sit there and take your lumps, take your losses.
Sure.
Like, to me, I'm with you. Like, I think that's just the nature of losing, though. Like, the losing side's bitter. And for AEW, the IWC created this weird metric where they never were really winning. But I think that, like, they gained a little ground and they started throwing parties and celebrating.
Yeah.
This is it. Tony Khan went out and he put the bag in front of CM Punk, and he put the bag in front of this guy, and he put the bag in front of Andrade. We're taking all their talent. We're doing it. And it just didn't work. And eventually you ran out of surprises. And the latest is Mercedes Moné. And you go, the IWC was like the biggest woman in wrestling. And where are we now? We're just more AEW, par for the course, same shit. Yep. I think that's natural of people who are losing, is to then get aggressive, and that is the bad part of tribalism, I agree. Is when the passion kind of overtakes and you can't just be humble and go like, we're in a down point right now. There's definitely things we need to fix, and we have the bones, we have the structure. There's good stuff in AEW. You just have to sift through so much bullshit to find it. Mm-hmm. And I think that, to me, that is the problem. I'm with you 100%. I like that. I like that topic. All right, Mike, let's do a little smack talk here. What was your biggest takeaway from Friday Night SmackDown last week?
I think, it's clearly obvious. This bloodline story is going to continue to be the greatest thing ever told.
It's a soap opera.
The existence of the universe. It's crazy to me that there was rumors that Tama Tonga was coming.
Yeah.
There's rumors that the other Fatu brother has been signed by the WWE as well. It's like, man. And it's funny that Solo is the one that's kind of turning things here.
Yep. We all thought he was going to go the other way.
Yeah, and I actually like it because they really built him well. He was very quiet, just kind of along for the ride, kind of soaking it in, taking orders, and all of a sudden he's talking. And it's like he can actually own a mic.
Uh-huh.
And taking the phone from Paul Heyman and smashing it on the floor, giving orders. I'm behind this, man. I don't know which side I'm assuming that he's probably Rock side.
It has to be, right?
And we're assuming that this is going to be kind of a Civil War kind of thing.
Well, this is the babyface turn for Roman. They kept telling us about this. Like, it was all over that, like, once Roman loses the title, we're going to turn him babyface. And we were all like, no, there's no way to do it. How do you do that? This fucking makes so much sense. You reunite the Usos, which is going to get so much love.
Yeah.
You put Roman in there with him, and all he has to do is be apologetic. Like, I got too big, guys. My head got too big. Yeah. Then you, like you said, Solo is going to carry this thing through the summer, and The Rock shows back up, and all of a sudden Solo goes, I was taking orders from the head of the table. And now it's like, oh my God, Triple H is cooking, man. This thing's never going to end.
My only issue is, man, the way these characters are built, how the hell do you take side as a fan?
I don't know that you do. Like, for once in my life, I think the bloodline you just kind of enjoy.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
Just take it in.
Right.
Because, I mean, I love The Rock. I thought The Rock came back and did incredible. I love Roman. Roman's the guy. I love the Usos. All of a sudden, Solo shows up. I have one thing for you, and I want you to go home and look this up later.
Okay.
What's his name? Toma Tonga?
Yeah.
Bro, that's Seth Rollins in disguise. That's the Samoan.
Oh.
He looks just like Seth Rollins. Do a side by side. I had Lauren dying during SmackDown. I said, that's Seth Rollins in disguise. He didn't leave. He just came back and joined the bloodline.
A Samoan.
It's a Samoan Seth Rollins. They look exactly alike. All right, so my biggest takeaway from SmackDown is I'm going to go a little different direction is what the fuck are we doing with Tiffany Stratton all of a sudden?
Ooh.
Like, why did she lose to Naomi? What? I don't sometimes, and like I said, right now I'm in this mode of trusting Triple H, but there's an overreaction to like, did we have to do that? There's a million people who could have lost that match to Naomi, and it's Tiffany Stratton. The only thing I could think is that like she was undefeated on SmackDown, and they're like, we got to scratch that. We don't want that to become a thing. Like we're not trying to build some big record for her. We need to protect her. If she gets too far ahead, that's going to be Jade's thing. We don't need like to put her in that kind of pressure situation. But I don't know, Mike. For me, Bayley versus Naomi just doesn't play. It's two baby faces. You had Bayley just kind of coming out of being a heel. I don't know. Like I feel maybe there's more at work here. Maybe this is just the early stages of Tiffany wiggling her way into that match somehow. But I do think that it's apparently clear to me Tiffany Stratton's going to be champion this year. I do believe so. I think like this kind of, she keeps kind of fine-tuning her character. And it's interesting because I was watching SmackDown and she came out in the yellow and black outfit. And to me, that meant nothing. Lauren immediately jumps up and goes, that's Clueless. And I'm like, what? She's like, that's the movie Clueless. She's in a Clueless. And then Corey Graves, referenced As If. And I was like, oh, they're on another level with Tiffany Stratton. They've got the wives and girlfriends paying attention now. Like they're locking in on a different frequency with Tiffany Stratton. They're doing what they tried to do with the Bella twins, but with Tiffany for some reason. Like my daughters, big fans of Tiffany Stratton. Lauren, big fan of Tiffany Stratton. They're resonating on a different level that I'm not understanding. So I don't know why she lost this week. My takeaway is I'm just going to kind of trust what's going on. Maybe, I'll tell you, Mike, I don't love when they announce the draft. When they announce the draft, we kind of know that like everything's a certain amount in holding, right? The bloodline can continue on because that's self-contained, but we don't know if Tiffany Stratton's going to be on Monday Night Raw 2 weeks from now. And that they just, got to do some like look over here for the moment. I started thinking, I wish they would take the event Backlash and get rid of it and turn that into the draft and incorporate King and Queen of the Ring into the draft and have basically kind of a draft / all-star celebration the month after WrestleMania because everything's kind of getting reset anyway. Do this big 3-hour event where all the superstars are there. Your draft picks make them feel big, make them feel like they have meaning. While that's happening in the ring, have King and Queen of the Ring going on and literally turn the camera like that match is taking place while it's going on. I think to me that makes more sense. Backlash to me has always felt a little bit like a thrown together event. It's supposed to be fallout from WrestleMania, but here we are. We're not going to have Rhea Ripley. We're not going to have The Rock. We're not going to have Seth Rollins. How much of this is really going to be fallout from WrestleMania and not just its own card anyway? To me, that's just kind of something I was throwing together in my head.
Yeah, I think for me, the reason Tiffany lost, was one, you got to get her on TV.
Okay.
But two, I don't think Bayley and Damage Control is done yet. I think that they're going to interfere in the match at Backlash between Naomi and Bayley. And then you'll probably have the save from Bianca and Jade, set up the tag team title match, and then you'll probably get a rematch between Bayley and I think that's probably the thinking that they're going with.
That makes me more comfortable thinking like that.
We'll have to see what happens.
I like that. I like that train of thought. That makes me more comfortable because to me, doing Naomi Bayley it's not that exciting. And nothing against either one of them. I just think coming out of this long story with Damage Control to go babyface is just a little bit weird.
I agree.
All right, let's end the show, Mike, by doing a blind ranking of the current WWE champions.
Okay.
We have no Rhea Ripley now, so we'll vacate that one. We have Only WWE, not NXT.
Okay.
Top 5. Here we go. Awesome Truth. Let's start with Awesome Truth. Where are we putting Awesome Truth?
I'm gonna put him 3. I'm gonna put him 3.
Awesome Truth 3.
Yeah.
I think I'm gonna go.
That shit was hilarious last night, though.
It was awesome. Truth. I mean, I'm going 2.
Okay.
Just because you said that. Just because that, I think that was awesome. Like, our truth is, I swear none of that is planned either. Like,
No.
he's just going. He's just making it up as he goes.
I agree.
All right, second one here we have Bailey.
I put her 4.
I'm going 5.
Okay. I'm not mad at that.
Babyface Bailey just, I just
Yeah.
Unless you're gonna go full on back with like the balloons and the hugger. I don't
Yeah,
know.
yeah.
You did too much nasty shit. You got to make amends.
That's true.
All right, so you've got 3 and 4. I've got 2 and 5.
Okay.
Cody Rhodes.
Ooh. I mean, that's 1.
It's got to be 1, right?
Yeah, that's got to be 1.
All right, I'm going 1 as well. Can't.
By the way, can he figure out how to hold a damn title?
Why does he carry it like that?
Looks like he's carrying a damn dog.
What's wrong? I thought the same thing. I was like,
Yeah.
like he definitely shows that he's not comfortable carrying the title. The first week it kept like sliding up and down, and so yeah, no, I'm gonna carry it like a baby, like a dog. Logan Paul. I'm going 4. I have 4 open.
I'll put him 2.
Ooh.
I'll put him 2.
All right, that means I have 3 left and you have a 5 left. Sami Zayn. Sami Zayn.
Every week, man. Every week. I guess that's my 4.
All right, so you did Cody 1, Logan 2, Awesome Truth 3, Bailey 4, Sami Zayn number 5. I did Cody 1, Awesome Truth 2, Sami Zayn 3, Logan Paul 4, Bailey 5.
I'm going to get it one of these weeks.
All right, you got anything else you want to hit on?
I'm good, man.
This has been another episode of the Casual Wrestling Community Show. Make sure to like and subscribe if you don't already. Remember to clip your favorite part of the episode and share it with friends across all social media platforms. The merch store and Casual Wrestling website are almost finished. You need to check those out next week. Make sure to follow us on all social media platforms, TikTok, YouTube, and you're on X, right?
Yeah.
I don't use it very much, but I'm on there. I need to get better about using X. You can search for Milwaukee Mike and Casual Wrestling, and somehow we'll pop up somewhere. As always, we enjoyed hanging out. I'm NerdyD. That's Milwaukee Mike, and we will talk more casual wrestling next week.
Hey, you better bring it if we debating going toe to toe. No holding back, I'm speaking the facts. Let me introduce you to the dopest show. NerdyD and Milwaukee Mike, bringing the energy. If you a fan of wrestling, and especially WWE, this is the Casual Wrestling Show. Casual Wrestling Show. We got opinions, we letting them know. Casual Wrestling Show. Hey, ain't no holding back.